welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, part 2 of Cliff's custom videos, and I'll put a link in the description to all the custom videos that he's had so far, quite a few. But in the last video, we talked about the 2 models he's really narrowed it down to, but we haven't talked about what's in his collection so far. I mean, you know about the 2 vintage Rolex watches, and we'll get to those as well. But here's what he has, all right? So his collection, number 1, a 2008 GMT Master II 116710LN. That's the ceramic all black GMT. And again, this is a 2008 model. And you know, the 2009 models, some of them had the stick dial, so should have waited a year. No, okay, I'm just giving him a hard time. This is a beautiful model, and I don't know if he got it new or pre-owned, but a great watch. One of the watches that I recommended early on when I thought he was working with 2 vintage Rolex watches, only because of the usability of this watch. So a great daily wear here, and excellent. Number 2, another vintage piece, a 1972 Rolex Datejust 1601 with the original Jubilee bracelet. You can see here it's pictured with a strap, which is a great way to keep that bracelet nice. So I would probably do the same. You know, should you source an aftermarket bracelet to put on it, like a Jubilee bracelet? Probably not. I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, but you could just, you know, use it sparingly. And this is 1972. So, wow, it was kicking around a long time before he was born. He was born in 1984, by the way. So that's excellent. Number 3, a 1980s pre-Bond Omega Seamaster. This is a quartz watch. It was given to him by his father. Great usable quartz. Omega. You know, Matt Stevens has one of those, and he swears by it. And it's a great piece to have in the collection. It's good to have a quartz piece. I have my Timex Q. This is a lot better. And given to him by his father. So far, 3 awesome pieces. I wouldn't get rid of any of those. Number 4, a 1970 Grand Seiko. And he says it's a 61GS 6156-8000 special. And you can see it's a high beat watch, and it's got the kanji on it, the, I guess, Japanese characters or Chinese characters. And right here, it says Saturday. It's in blue, so I guess Saturday is in blue, Sunday is in red, and that's a watch that probably came from Japan or maybe China, which is where Cliff lives. So it's got the day, it's got the date, got the kanji there. It's a high beat, brings some diversity in terms of brand to the collection. So it's a great watch, and you know, again, it's older than he is, so it's got that vintage aspect to it. Number 5, a 1970s GirardPerregaux Gyromatic high-frequency gold-plated day date. All right, so we're going to start to see some watches that I wouldn't call bad watches. They're Swiss-made watches, and a lot of people would say that, you know, they're good watches, and they are. All right, they're Swiss-made, they're good, they're quality. Like older Longines watches, Frederic Constant, something like that, but they're watches that, let's be honest, they're kind of like meh, you know? You already have them in the collection. Are you gonna be able to get out of them and, you know, make a lot of money to put towards other pieces? Probably not. I wouldn't want so many of these watches in the collection because I wouldn't want to have them serviced, and so I might try to get out of them before they needed a service. And this is one of those watches. You know, it just doesn't do much for me. Viewer, let me know if you like it. But look, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't know if I would want it in my collection to take care of. Taking up space. It's a horological mouth to feed. Come service time. Okay, so all right, I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible, but I think you know how I feel. Number 6, the hydrocarbon aero GMT2 is a limited edition of 1,000 pieces. This is piece 993. It was given to him by his father-in-law. This is a ball watch. Again, it's a quality watch. I'd never buy it, but it was given to him. It's a GMT function watch, and this would be a great high-end beater because he didn't pay for it. If he loses it, you know, wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's a quality watch and it's got a GMT function, so a great travel watch. So you got your travel beater there, and if you like your father-in-law, that's a bonus. And look, when you have kids, that'll be an awesome story. I mean, this came from your grandfather to me, now it goes to you, so it's good to have in the collection, of course. Would it be better if it was a Rolex watch? Maybe, but then it wouldn't be a high-end beater, would it? So I think this is a good, modern, usable piece in the collection. All right, so number 7, Nomos Ludwig, 40 millimeter automatic. This was a gift from his wife and mother-in-law. And look, again, I'm going to be as diplomatic as possible. I'm not a fan of Nomos watches. They remind me of Daniel Wellington watches. I don't know which came first, probably Nomos, okay? I don't know much about Nomos, all right? That's pretty clear in that previous statement, but not a fan of the aesthetics, so I don't know how much you paid for it. Again, if I had this watch, I probably would, well, it was given to you. That's the thing, you didn't buy it. Again, you know, is something that you can pass on to your children, whatever, and came from your wife and your mother-in-law, so there's that connection. So I'm not saying get rid of it. You can't get rid of it, but, okay. Number 8, 1960s Zenith Sporto Jumbo 37 millimeter watch. And, you know, again, I view this as kind of a nice watch, quality for sure, but, you know, it's a 60s watch, another horological mouth to feed, and I'm not sure if I'd want to feed it, okay, come service time. When it comes to Zenith, I think it's the chronographs that you want to invest your money in. And again, this is a nice watch, and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know how much you paid for it. For me, this kind of goes into the category of older vintage Omega Seamasters. You can get those for cheap, but do you really want one? And a lot of old Omegas are like that, and I think the Zenith is kind of like that. So, you know, it's if you like vintage watches, I can see, and look, it does bring Zenith into the collection. And so you got that, and then there's that connection to Rolex, which is kind of nice. And it brings brand diversity. Number 9, all right, Seiko Perpetual Calendar Quartz, my first serious watch. It was passed down to me by my older brother, so it's got a lot of sentimental value. And wow, interesting aesthetics on this watch. You know, I don't know how I feel about those Romans on the dial. Kind of weird, and it's a very 70s looking watch, and you got like the screws on the bezel at the 12, the 9, and the 6. The weird magnifier. You know, it's a quartz piece. Again, really retro look. Bracelet, ooh, kind of odd. But again, it's got sentimental value. Again, it's another quartz, so it's gonna be really usable. It's sort of you know, it's something you want to keep in the collection, and it's probably not gonna need much service except for a new battery every now and then. So, you know, why not? And look, you can't really be hard on old Seikos from the 70s, and so yeah, I think that's fine. And then we've got the 2 vintage Rolex watches, which I covered in previous videos, links in the description. Number 10, the 1967 Rolex Air King / Explorer 5500, and number 11, the 1963 Rolex Datejust 1804. And yeah, those are beautiful vintage watches that we've already talked about. So looking at his Rolex watches, look, he's got a great Rolex collection, 5 pieces, and I think the real strong pieces in his collection are the 5 Rolex watches. The Grand Seiko is nice to have. The Ball is a nice usable watch that'll have a great story for his kids. You know, again, the Nomos has to stay. Okay, can't get rid of that. The Seiko, you want that to stay. Are there any watches that I would get rid of? None of the Rolex watches, okay? And he's got, again, the 116710LN, which is a great modern watch. That's what I would be wearing as a daily wear on a regular basis, okay? Unless you're going to some place sketchy, and then you can put on the ball, all right? Now, as far as the Zenith and the GirardPerregaux, I probably would let those go before service time. And I would try to let the Nomos go if you can swing that, all right? I know that I probably sound like a jerk saying that, but I'm just not a fan of that aesthetic. I really wouldn't want to look at that watch. I'd probably pull my wife aside and say, look, thank you, but we got to have a talk about this. All right. Hey, what can I say? I'm a jerk. All right. But I really would want that out of the collection, I think. Okay, that's just a personal thing. That style, it just screams Daniel Wellington to me. And maybe Daniel Wellington just nicked that and poisoned Nomos for me. That's entirely possible. But, you know, if you were to take away the Zenith and the GirardPerregaux and the Nomos, you would have a really nice collection. The Seiko, again, sentimental value, kind of retro cool, kind of ugly too, but hey, that's retro Seiko for you, all right? And that would be kind of nice, and to have that in the collection, and it's justifiable, and again, the ball is modern, and you know, it would fit. You could put the ball right next to those Rolexes, and it could sort of stand up and hold its own. The Seiko, not really, let's be honest, but again, it's got the sentimental value, and the GS could as well, all right? So there you go. I would consider getting rid of the GirardPerregaux, the Zenith, and the Nomos, and I doubt you're going to get much for those, okay? So you might as well perhaps just keep them. Guys, help them out. What do you think? Those would be the three that I would want to let go. I would want to free up some space, free up some money in the future that you might otherwise spend on service costs. And again, link in the description to the two pieces we talked about. Yeah, I think the 16803 is a great piece to go. The very first two-tone Submariner from 1984, birth year, all right? Well, anyway, guys, let him know what you think of his current collection. I think it's a great collection, and look, we all have our kind of older watches that are sort of iffy. I mean, I've got them too. I've got a Seiko Speedmaster from 1970, and you know, should it be in the collection? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Come service time, am I going to want to service that? Probably not. I got some Vostoks. You know, I've got some watches. We all have our kind of iffy watches, and I think we've identified three of his. So we're not being too hard on him. We're just being honest, and honestly, everybody's got a few watches like that in the collection, and you might want to think about getting rid of them. But let him know what you would do, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to drop a comment in the comment section and give your 2 cents. Be sure to like, subscribe. Thanks again, Cliff, for all of these custom videos, and I will see you guys next time.